What are your thoughts on Australia at the present? Where is it headed? And prepping goals for 2016. So as for Australia, I've done a video about this before. If you go to my main YouTube channel page, you just type in the Money GPS into YouTube, go to my main channel page, you'll see under global economic collapse, you'll see the video I did about Australia. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I did. Yes, I certainly did. And they're basically hoping for a Chinese boom, which is of course still taking place. They have the resources in Australia, and they are certainly exporting those primarily into Asia and China specifically. So if China's weakening, if they're not buying as many commodities, if you look at the imports and exports and the shipping indicators, this is how you will determine what's happening with Australia. But also you need to just look at the region, look at who their trading partners are, and see how well they are doing. And I do believe that they will suffer a slowdown just like every other country. Prepping goals for 2016, it is, for myself, of course, it's to pay down debt. That's the way I see it. You know, you have to pay down all your debts and do as best as you can. At the same time, collecting small preparations, what you can with different seeds and different sprouting grains that you can do inside your own home. That's for me anyway. Is corruption and doom of an empire inevitable as people get complacent and the rulers get away with things, or would there be a political system that can work forever? No system will work forever. It all exists in cycles. So this is inevitable what happens. Unfortunately, there are better systems and systems that last longer than others. You could see certain governments come into power and, you know, in short order, they're gone. So this is what I would say. There's a nice little hand symbol there. Do you place any historical value to the economic theory, such as the economic confidence model or the Shemitah Jubilee as discussed by Jonathan Kahn? I don't agree with the Jubilee at all. I just, once again, system created by the bankers based around debt. Why are they going to get people out of debt? Why are they saving people? It doesn't make any sense to me. And at the same time, it allows them to consolidate power yet again. If the banks are shutting down because of the chaos, the government comes in, they do a whole phony show in front of us, and more consolidation. That's what it is. It's not tomorrow's collapse and then there's an apocalypse, there's nuclear bombs going off. No, it's all entirely about consolidation, a little bit every time. A little bit, inching forward and forward and forward. That's the way it works. It's through generations. What does a person with a 401k do if the only way becomes liquid when employment is severed? I took my savings out of the stocks in July and put everything into low-risk bonds. I have no other moves at this point besides to quit my job. Well, you know, you have to make a decision for yourself. But if that 401k has the ability to be put in something safer, then, you know, I see low-risk bonds as being potentially safer, but it's difficult. You know, there is a lot of jurisdiction that you need to find out about your particular situation. You know, if there's a way to take that money out in Canada, there's the RRSPs instead of 401ks, and you're allowed to take out a certain amount of that money for a first-time home buyer's plan. And there are all sorts of different things that you could look into in your own countries. I believe, obviously, 401k, you're in the US. There's many different laws that you need to check into. Maybe there's a way to unlock due to different reasons. If you can unlock that 401k or perhaps take it with a penalty, maybe you want to do that. But these are decisions you need to make for yourself, as I've said. Get your preparations in order and you'll be fine. We're here at the 7-year tribulation period. There will be a cashless society and we'll be forced to mark the beast or be beheaded. My best advice is read Revelation. It will tell you in time we're ahead of where we are. Prepare your soul and repent to accept Christ as your Savior. That's the best investment you will ever make for eternity. I don't know the numbers, but let's say we owe $50 billion to the Fed every year, the debt. The government pays the Fed $50 from our taxes. What happens to that $50 billion? I seem to have lost track here. We owe $50 billion to the Fed every year from the debt we have, like our credit card payments. The government pays the Fed $50 billion from our taxes. What happens to that $50 billion? I'm sorry, I'm not able to follow this one here. What I would suggest is, and I wish I knew the name of that video, but there is a cartoon. If I can, I'll try and mention in the next one of the next videos I do. There's a cartoon that actually explains all of this. If you've seen it for yourself or others out there who have seen it, if you could comment on this. The name of it is, it's a cartoon. It basically goes through the whole banking system and basically does explain this. So I hope that I can get that to you. We want to know what the dollar, we know the dollar will collapse anyway. What can you recommend to the poor people? They have no land, no houses, no gold, no servant, paycheck to paycheck survivals. What they can do or should to prepare for the crash? Large bags of rice, seeds. When you eat a seed from whatever vegetable you have, depending on where you live, I'm sure not all climates are able to do this, but throw it in your backyard, plant it, water it. You can take one seed and turn that into thousands of fruits or vegetables. This is so crucial. It doesn't cost money in order to be able to provide for yourself. You need to just plan ahead. And yes, I understand that many people, they don't have land. They don't even have a backyard. But get sprouts. These are extremely cheap and they provide you with food, and they're great because they store for long periods of time. Large bags of rice are key because you can constantly consume them. Just have a few extra. The owners can control the price of gold. I wouldn't be surprised if they control the price of oil. Of course they do. They can control the stock market by buying S&P futures, the Dow Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if they can control whatever the Dow goes. Of course, absolutely. Why should any of us assume they're going to lose control of this stuff just because some rate hike? Say, for example, there's a bigger glut in oil. They didn't care as they put the price of oil like one at any time. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to read all of this. But I would just say overall, you're absolutely right. They do control all of this, and they are able to manipulate the prices to whatever they want. Absolutely. Better suited to answer the question, most have never sold an ounce of gold and silver, only accumulated. I'm worried that all those extra costs selling back to dealers someday. If I buy physical precious metals, what are all the costs I might be aware of collecting returns later? And how much higher than my purchase price should be the spot in order for me to enjoy any profit? You know, if you go based on today's numbers, then actually on 1 ounce of gold, you'll pay, if I remember correctly, it's something along the lines of $15 or $30. So it's not much in terms of paying back, but that number can change at any time. Also, you have to determine the fact that what are they going to buy it back from you for? Are you going to be selling right near the peak? Are you going to be able to determine that? Or are you going to be selling on the way down when they start realizing that this isn't going so well? So it's very risky in that way. I don't personally recommend people sell their precious metals, but most of the people buy into the precious metals as much as they possibly can, and they intend on selling to reap a profit after. It's a dangerous business. It's possible to do that, to hold on to those precious metals and just wait and try to pick the top, but it's tricky, and it's something you're gonna have to figure out on your own. Should I go with pink or green? You take your pick. Huge ass. That's a Simpsons quote for those who don't know. If someone makes less than $25,000 a year and is very worried about the impending economic crash, do you think taking out a loan to invest in gold and silver or wait the commodities value to explode is the last viable last resort option? I don't agree with taking out any loans at all. It's in no circumstances is it a good idea unless maybe it was life or death. But ultimately, you're better off with the other assets that I've talked about in this video. That's it for the questions. I finally got to the end. Thank you very, very much for all of those. I want you to just to make sure to check out my main YouTube channel page. I have videos on particular countries, depending where you are in the world. I have my interviews on there. I have my eCourse on there. I have all kinds of information for you as well. You can go to themoneygps.com and all that information is there as well. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. And last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. If you want to look through the book, just head over to Amazon. There's a look inside feature. It will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care. And that was a lot of talking. If you're still here, you've watched all the Q&A videos, and I really do appreciate that. That means you're really interested in what's happening here, and to me, that's a good sign for the prospect of liberty. Thank you very much for tuning in here. I tried my best to answer your questions in such a quick time. As I've said, I didn't read through the questions beforehand, so I'm trying to do it off the cuff. And if you're interested, as many seem to be, I'm definitely willing to do more of these Q&As down the road. Not something to do necessarily, every day, but once in a while, throw out a Q&A video, and I can intersperse these in with the answers, intersperse them with the other videos, so everyone's staying on top of things. Take care.